So we just got all this stuff from Southern Irrigation. We're gonna unpack it. This is irrigation for our lettuce, radishes, other quick turnaround crops that are 60 days or less. So we're gonna unpack this and start putting it together. Then we'll take a look at what it looks like. Okay everyone, so we have all of our pieces here for the new irrigation system. We have our stands, connections, 2-foot nipples, sprinkler ends, our irrigation line, our timer. You'll need some Teflon tape. We have some pliers just in case, little wrenches to tighten on the clamps. Okay, so we have our thread tape, and we have to put the thread tape on the same direction. So if we're screwing to the right, we want the thread tape to go on to the right. If we do it the opposite way, then it's going to actually undo itself when we tighten it on. If we put it on this way, when we go to screw it, it's just gonna peel it right back off again. So we have to start and go, if we're facing the fitting that we're taping, facing the end of the threads, we're going clockwise. And then we're gonna do this 3 or 4 times. The more you do it, the easier it is to undo the fittings later. Plus, this keeps it from leaking. Now that we have this on here, we can take our base and we will screw it into it. So now we're going to take our wrench and we're just going to tighten this up a little bit more. Now we're going to unscrew this because we're going to connect another one here because these are going to be connected in series. And we take this one. Now this one has a rubber washer in here. So technically we don't need to put thread tape on the end of this. We could screw this right on and it'll be fine. I'm going to put a little bit of thread tape on here anyways, because I think it is good practice. And we want to make sure there's nothing inside of this hole, or else it can go through and then it'll clog our sprinkler head. Now we want to make sure we don't cross thread anything when we're doing this. So we'd be very nice and gentle, and we'll screw that in nice and tight. Now we'll have to put our line, which is back there, on here, put a clamp, line, put a clamp. We are going to have to adjust the length of these, so I'm going to put it probably around 20 feet. We may actually have to cut it shorter, depending on if you have a lot more pressure, or if you have less pressure, your distance is gonna change, and depending on the sprinkler head and the volume. The next part is to get the actual sprinkler nozzle installed. So we need one of these, we need one of these, and we need one of these. So again, we have to make sure we're going the right direction, and it needs to be going to the right or clockwise. And we're going to go around 4 times. I like to put a decent amount on, makes it easier later. Everything stays cleaner. I'm going to go over all the threads. Now we take our female fitting, female, and we're going to screw that on there. And this does not have to be more than hand tight, because we got thread tape and it's going to the sprinkler. There should be not a really issue of leaking here. And this has these little wings on here for tightening. And that is plenty tight. Now we just need this side so that we can screw it into the base. Gentle and careful that it's perfectly straight. We do not want to cross thread anything. And this, just hand tight again. I mean, I'm twisting pretty hard, but now here, is our irrigation stand. It's too tall that you can't even see it on the camera. Right there, we have our nice little wobbler end. So I'm gonna put together a whole bunch of these guys, not all of them, but maybe half a dozen of these, enough for us to irrigate the garlic that's out in the field right now, and then we'll put her in place and take a look at it. So right there is all the components that we're going to put together right now. I did a little bonus thing, and that is this guy right here. This is a manifold. Instead of using a garden hose splitter, you know, you might have a faucet or a hydrant and you want a Y, or, you know, it'll split into 4 or 3. Well, this is the heavy duty professional version, because the other ones, the holes inside actually restrict the water flow, and these are full 3/4 brass pipe. Lasts longer, never gonna wear out on you, and they put a lot more water flow. And yeah, should be good. We're gonna start stringing things together and see how it runs. We're going to connect our timer right on the end of the hose here, and then run down the bed with our 3/4 inch black line. Because garden hose, unless it's expensive stuff like this blue stuff, restricts water flow and it's expensive. This is a lot cheaper and a lot easier. So we're gonna run this down, place our sprinklers down the bed, and we're gonna be good to go. So we ran our sprinklers down the bed. We have our beehive 4-way valve. We have our main line going to our sprinklers, which we have to put a garden hose fitting on the end so it can screw into the port. And on the back, it's just a little cartridge. I'm surprised because this one only takes 2 batteries, but it doesn't take much power, I guess, to run this. So we got our 2 batteries in here, and now we should have power. Now, it's really important to set the time and have the time right. It's 3:37, so we're gonna go up to set clock, 3:37. Then our start time for irrigation, 8 o'clock is a fine time to start, at least for zone 1. I don't know if these are numbered on here. I don't see a number, but once we turn it on, we'll know which one is number 1. So that's for zone 1. We're gonna have to test, so let's try 10 minutes at the start. And we switch zones here, just like that. Very nice, very easy. Has Bluetooth, so I should be able to connect this to my phone as well. Let's see, hold for rain delay, auto manual. So if we say 1 minute on manual, it should open up a port. Oh, that's loud. There's some pressure in there. So this is number 1. Then we just click it again, and it should stop. There we go. So that's working. Gonna have to open a new bag. Push it all the way in. Yeah. Sometimes it's easier if this is already screwed in already to something. You have some to press against. Loosen this so we can get it up to the top. Right there. Now we just tighten it. Now we screw this into our Orby port. And we are ready to test. No, I think I'm liking this so far. We have one leak I can see. We're gonna have to turn this off. Not 100% sure why, but we were leaking right here. It maybe was also a bad idea to put two clamps. We clamped it also in a row, which leaves a little bit of a gap right where the clamp is. So we're gonna twist this way, and hopefully this is enough for us to get a seal. Okay. I'm liking this right now. It's a little hard to tell with such short running time, but it seems good. So everything's running back there. It's looking really good right now, and we'll just let that go. I set the timer for 10 minutes on this guy. So we'll let that go for 10 minutes, and then we'll be able to see the irrigation pattern where the water is falling. Now, back to this. Why not use these instead of something like this? Well, it's not because I didn't try. I've used a lot of these in the past for doing gardens. It's just not designed for that. Also tend to break really, really easily. This stuff here, and it's not all that expensive. That's the thing. It just takes a little bit of knowledge on how to do that. This was not complicated. We showed you very simply how to do this, and it's the right way to go. We do have a large irrigation reel here for parts of the field. That runs off a big pump, but this is a professional system. This is, you know, and it's not so scary as some large irrigation lines and everything like that. Very simple, but still, it does the job right. You've probably seen ones like this before, the little brass guys. These are, you know, fairly bulletproof. Nothing too complicated there, but they take a lot of water. You can make the nozzle smaller, but it doesn't do a fine mist. The thing about these wobblers, it's a fine mist. And when we're doing lettuce and things like that, we don't want mud in the leaves to clean out later. It just makes a mess. And there's too much pressure going out here, and it splashes. And same with this, it's going up, it's falling, the drops are really big, and it makes kind of a muddy mess. Let's take a quick look at how our spray formation is. I'm quite happy. We have such low flow, but they're still spraying nice. If you had to have that many of the lawn sprinklers, you're gonna be more expensive on lawn sprinklers. These, yes, you're setting up once, you're leaving it, but then you know you have water there, you have the zones. So if you don't have a lot of pressure, which we do not here, then we put this zone on, that'll do 3 beds, 3 beds, 3 beds, 3 beds. We can do a lot of beds that way, a lot of garden space with not a lot of input here and not a lot of pressure. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.